Is there a relationship between squamous and glandular ulcers? And the answer is no. If you've got one, you're no more likely to have the other, but you can have both. So if you've got risk factors for both, you can have both. If you've got, for example, exceptional nutritional and exercise management, you're probably unlikely to have squamous, but you can definitely still have glandular. So they can occur independently or they can occur concurrently, but not necessarily dependently. Do we see differences in the symptoms or clinical signs? We don't have a great grasp on glandular overall. So a lot of it's sort of opinion rather than fact. But for me, I think there is a difference. The squamous, the dominant thing that we see is poor body condition, unexplained weight loss, and changes in eating behavior. And really, in many ways, it's like heartburn in people, and it's the same disease process as heartburn in people. And I think that the signs that we see reflects that. For glandular disease, I think we see much more overt behavioral signs associated with true pain. And I guess you could argue the difference between discomfort and pain, but I think we're actually talking about true pain. And so we see manifestations of true pain, which are irritability, reluctance to work, changes in personality, these sorts of things. And they're the sorts of things we see. I think we also see a stronger link between glandular disease and colic. That if I see a horse that has multiple episodes of colic, one of the first things I'm going to do is go looking at the stomach, and I'm primarily looking for glandular disease, although obviously I wouldn't ignore squamous disease. And then just to clarify, no, glandular is not the hindgut. So we're still talking about the stomach right up the front, and then we've got 22 yards of small intestine, and then we get to the hindgut. And squamous disease, for me, it's about the big three. So when we talk about squamous disease, we're talking about the amount of carbohydrate in their diet, the amount of roughage that they consume, and the amount of exercise they do. And so they need low carbohydrate, high roughage, and we try to regulate their exercise. It's the dominant three factors. And so it's increased carbohydrate, inadequate roughage. What's adequate roughage? At least 1.5 to 2% of their body weight. It's not just the amount they consume, and it's the amount of exercise they do in any given period. So if we take a week, it's the amount of time they spend exercising at a trot or above.